Well, I am on Bloodwood today. It's just a bit over 60,000 acres. I should be in 24,000 hectares. And at this stage we're just building up to running probably a 500 breeder herd of Angus and Santa Gertrudis cattle. And we also have 500 Dorper ewes on here, which are challenging. We're a bit of a pilot program for out west here with the rotational grazing or cell grazing, whatever you please to call it. At this stage we've probably got about 20 cup and saucer tanks in place.
The idea at this stage is not to use any fences. We're just simply going to turn waters on and turn waters off to move the stock.
The use of attractants, which will be, well, we're already feeding cottonseed and lick and maybe molasses. Not only are you turning the water off in that circumstance, you're also probably going to have some form of noise, as in the trailer coming in with the lick on, or even tooting your horn, whatever, so that they know that something is actually going to happen. And we'll follow on to the next tank.
Graham Finlayson came over and we went right through it. These circles here represent the grazing areas around all our water points at the moment. As you can see, they're not particularly adequate. There wouldn't even, you would have a quarter of the property being overgrazed around your water points. From the centre of that point there to there is 1.5 kilometres, and yes, we all know cattle can go out a fair bit further than 1.5 k's, but that's basically where your property's being overgrazed. Here, with the new water system in and 18 new water points put in, you can see using the same pattern, the 1.5 k's all over, you've got basically your whole property being capable of grazing. The cost of all that is roughly $250,000, and that's a lot cheaper than going out and buying a new property.
As soon as we moved in, the Western Catchment Management got hold of us and suggested that we might like to do A, B, C and D. So one of the first things we were enrolled in was the Holistic Management course, which we did over a period of 18 months with Brian Marshall, which we really got blown away by that. Not being here all our lives, I think, let us come into country with a new perspective and the new ideas and possibilities that we might be able to achieve out here. So yeah, it may or may not work for us, but I think we were not blinkered at that stage. We had no idea what we were doing, and we thought this sounded like a really good cause.
There's 60 k's of new pipeline, 2-inch pipeline being put in. It's a loop, it goes right the way around. By putting that loop in, the experts say that's the equivalent of using a 3-inch pipe. So we're using 2-inch rural pipe of high quality. It's capable of putting 55,000 litres out per day at the furthest point. There's 18 new water points, and they are all cup and saucer tanks.
Well, yeah, the southern section of Bloodwood is lake country. It grows a lot of short, sweet herbs and salt bushes, and you know, it's covered in glasswort and all sorts of weird and wonderful things, and the cattle love it. They pick round through all these short herbages, and they do very, very well on it. The lakes, there's freshwater lakes, there's saltwater lakes, there's clay pans, there's black box swamps, there's everything, every form of water in the south. That northern country where the project's starting has virtually no water in any way, which gives us a lot of control of moving the cattle there.
Susan's, she's done all the courses on how to predict when stock have got to be moved at the critical point, and she's done the courses to analyse how much feed for the stocks in front of you. I'm
very much animal focused, as you've probably realised, so I like my animals to be looked after all the time, 100% plus. We
should be able to predict when we're out of feed 4 months before we are out of feed. In other words, we can start offloading stock 4 months before other people would probably be doing it.
Yeah, I'll give it to him, righto.
I think that it's really important for everybody to always share the negatives and the positives out of an experience like this, because it might not necessarily be the best way or the only way to achieve this thing, and we won't really know until after it's finished and we've had a go and sort of identified the management challenges and other things.
We will do our level best to make it work, but there'll be a lot of hiccups along the way, and socialisation of cattle, which is a fascinating thing, just to make them bond with each other. Otherwise we might have to sell the Santa Gertrudis and tell them to go elsewhere and stay black. I don't know.
Our mustering costs will diminish. We suspect it's going to make life so easy it doesn't matter. In fact, we'll be down the coast probably most of the time.
I think it's good for her and my dad to have a good challenge. They've always been like that, and I think they thrive on it. And I think my brother and I are probably going to head in the same direction probably now and in the future.
Both the kids, I think, if it suits their lifestyle into the future, will probably be interested in keeping this country going. I think they love the social fabric out here. Needless to say, it's very limited, but they love the characters out here, and they love the country.
I guess a good sort of strong social network and family behind you when you're out on a property by yourself in the middle of nowhere, so it's been good and I enjoy it. Like any big project, there's that time just before it's finished where you feel like everything's falling to pieces and nothing's going to work out, and then in only a matter of weeks or maybe a month it'll be in place and we'll all feel this great relief.
We've got to disturb this ground and get it growing. There's no reason why that bit of grass there can't have a bit of grass next to it. There's just no reason. So it's obviously, it needs disturbance, and it needs them weeing and pooing and carrying on and bashing scrub and doing their bit.
Yeah, it'll be a good achievement when we've finally finished it, and I think we're all looking forward to kind of implementing the project together and once we've got it all in place.
It doesn't matter when it rains here. There's summer feed, there's winter feed, I would hate to think how many different grasses. And, you know, your chenopod, everything is here. And it's magic for that reason. It's country that if it was looked after, it's just got huge potential. And masses of trees. Masses of different trees and beautiful trees. You know, the whitewoods have just flowered and your leopardwoods flower, and you just look at them and you think you couldn't put a nicer species in your garden. So yeah, the lake system here, birds just everywhere. We had every name birds you could think of on the lakes over the last few years, and you know, we've got the brolgas and stilts, and even seagulls came in, just everything was here. So it's a bit of a bird watcher's paradise. I think that one day if we can develop that, we will. We are aware that there will be some times when we just cannot control what we're doing, but that's just seasonal and it's just what we run with, basically, yeah.
I guess it keeps her going, gives her something to be passionate about. I think that's important throughout your whole life.
No, there's no way I'll walk out of here. They've said all Mexicans are gone by 5 years. I'm 5 years in July. I intend to at least double that. Just depends how old I get, how quickly. You know? I've got to age.
Challenge, I guess in one word, it's challenge. Susan has always wanted to live and own a station. She's living on a station, she owns a station. It's achieving something. And it's good fun, really good fun doing it, I tell you.
I think that's why my mum and dad took on this project. It's because we like to keep moving all the time. So no, I don't think there's ever a dull moment. And, well, if there ever is, we all enjoy it out in the yard with a beer and embrace it while it's there.
Yeah, it's a challenge. No, I love it. No, you couldn't get anywhere better than out here, you really couldn't.